Don't write JAMB exam on the 20th and 21st of this month, that is on Monday and on Tuesday, if you don't watch this video to the end. Guys, you're welcome back to my channel. Today, we'll be discussing the questions you should see in your JAMB Mathematics exam on the 20th and 21st. Please take this video seriously. Quickly, question number 1 says on the board, solve 2x plus 3 less than 2. Now, quickly, we're going to find the value of x. We can quickly say 2x becomes less than 2, take away 3. This 3 comes over here to become minus 3. And then we say 2x less than 2 minus 3 is minus 1. Divide both sides by 2, and your answer to question number 1 should be x less than minus 1 over 2. Number 2 says, if x varies inversely as y cubed and x equals 8 when y is 5, find the value of k. Quickly, we're going to solve this under variation. We're going to say x becomes equal to k over y cubed. Therefore, k becomes x times y cubed. Put the value of x and y given in the question. So x is 8 and y is 5. 5 cubed becomes 125. So the value of k should be 1000. Number 3 says, if p equals this matrix and q equals this matrix, find p minus q. Quickly, we are subtracting both matrices. Now, very simple. I'm going to say p minus q is going to give another matrix. Now, see, you're going to subtract equivalent values in both sides. Okay, so as 2 is here, so is minus 3 here. We're going to say 2 minus minus 3. Okay, so 2 minus minus 3 should be here, and then 0 minus 2 at the middle, and then the last one 0 minus 1 at the other end. Come down here, we have minus 1 minus 0, we have 6 minus 1, and we have 0 minus 2. The bottom, we have 5 minus 0, minus 1 minus 0, okay, and 2 minus minus 1. Now, quickly, find the final answer. Minus times minus will be plus. 2 plus 3 equals 5. 0 minus 2 is minus 2. 0 minus 1 is minus 1. Minus 1 minus 0 is also minus 1. 6 minus 1 is 5. 0 minus 2 is minus 2. 5 minus 0 gives you 5. Minus 1 minus 0 is minus 1. And 2 minus minus 1 gives you 3. So this becomes the answer to that question. Number 4 says, subtract 16417 in base 8 from 17040 in base 8. Now, quickly, we're going to apply our normal trick we learned in primary school. The normal place values, 100, 10, unit, and the rest as we have. Now, quickly, we are subtracting this value from this guy, meaning this value is greater than this value. So, quickly, we're going to do this. So, we're going to say 17040 and then 16417, both in base 8. And we are asked to subtract. Now, quickly, 0 cannot minus 7. We're going to have to borrow 1. But now remember, when we are borrowing, you only borrow the base. I'll say it again. You only borrow the base. So when you are borrowing, I'm borrowing number 8. So from this 4, I borrow 1 from here. I'm left with 3 here. But that 1 is 8. So we have 8 here. Quickly, now what is 8 minus 7? 8 minus 7 gives you 1. And then 3 minus 1 gives you 2. Now, 0 cannot subtract 4 again. We're going to borrow 1 from the next number, which is 7. So it becomes 6, and the 1 borrowed becomes 8. So what's 8 minus 4? That gives you 4. 6 minus 6 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So we have 4, 2, 1 in base 8 as the final answer. Number 5 says, evaluate this value. This is an integration, okay? Now, we all know how to integrate, but we don't remember, when you are integrating, over here, if y equals ax raised power n, the integral of y with respect to x gives you add 1 to the power and divide your answer by that expression you have here, then plus c or plus k. So we're going to be doing this for this question, but before we do that, we can simplify this fraction. X can go into x cubed, this guy and this and that guy, at the same time. Quickly, I'm going to say the question simplifies to, watch, if x divides x cubed, you're going to have just x squared. If x divides 2x squared, you're going to have 2x. And then if x divides 4x, you're going to have 4. Okay? And then plus another x. Don't forget this guy. All with respect to what now? To x. Quickly, I can just say 2x plus x gives you 3x. So the question simplifies to x squared plus 3x plus 4. Okay? All with respect to x. Now we can apply the expression. How do we remember the power? The power. You add 1 to the power. So here becomes x cubed over 3. Don't forget. Here becomes 3x squared over 2. Here becomes 4x and then plus a constant. This becomes the answer to this question. Number 6 says evaluate sine into bracket negative 330. Now quickly, to solve this faster and easier without stress, 330 is in the fourth quadrant, okay? And in the fourth quadrant, we have 360 there. So what I'm going to say, theta becomes, okay, minus 330 plus 360. And this gives you 30, okay? So sine negative 330 is also same thing as sine 30. And what's the answer? 1 over 2 or 0.5. Number 7. In how many ways can 4 couples sit on a bench if a couple must sit together? Now, 4 couples, don't be tempted. That's not 4. 4 couples consist of 8 persons, okay? So let's say we have AB, a couple, CD, another couple, EF, another couple, and let's say GH. These are 4 couples. Now, these first couples, for example, must always stay together. Okay, now quickly, I'm going to solve this by normal factorial method. Watch and learn. I'm going to count. Now, since these two guys must always be together, whatever God has put together, let no man put what now? Asunder. So we're going to count them as 1. We're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, this should be 7 factorial. But don't forget that the 2 couples you kept are together and they are 2. So you're going to say times 2 factorial. Now, the option in your JAMB system is left this way. 7 factorial times 2 factorial. Okay, number 8. Evaluate this expression. These are numbers in this. So quickly, instead of doing your normal local pattern of putting 0, 1, 2, we don't want that here, okay? Quickly, let's convert all these guys to a number in base 10 to allow easy calculation. Now, 101 in base 2, convert to base 10. Watch and learn. 1 times 2, 2. 2 plus 0, 2. 2 times 2, 4. 4 plus 1, 5. So this guy gives you 5 times. Now for this number, let's go again. Same pattern, watch and learn. It's very simple. 1 times 2, 2. 2 plus 1, 3. 3 times 2, 6. 6 plus 1, 7. 7 times 2, 14. 14 plus 0 remains as 14. So we have these two guys, then plus. Now same pattern again. 1 times 2, 2. Plus 1, 3. Times 2, 6 plus 1, 7. So we have the 7 here. Now quickly, what is 5 times 14? 5 times 14 gives you 70. So we have 70 plus 7. And that's 77. Now this is the answer in base 10. We're going to convert to base 2 because the question came in base 2. Quickly, you're going to say 77 and then you put a 2 here. Can 2 go into 77? Yes. How many times? 38 times. Remaining how many? 1. Then 2 into this guy again. 2 into 38. Yes, I can go how many times? 19 times. Remaining 0. And 2 into 19. That will be 9. Remaining 1. 2 into 9. That will be 4. Remaining 1. 2 into 4. That will be 2 remaining 0. 2 into 2. 1 remaining 0. And then 2 into 1, 0. You write the 1 back. And then the answer becomes 1001101 in base 2. Number 9 says, find the slope if 5x plus 10y minus 3 equals 0. Recall, equation of a straight line is expressed as y equals mx plus c, where m is the slope. So let's rearrange this expression to look like this. Quickly, I'm going to say 10y equals to negative 5x plus 3. Now I need y to stand alone. We're going to divide all through by 10. Divide all through by 10. Base. You have y equals. Now, 5 can go into 10 twice. You're going to have minus 1 over 2x and then plus 3 over 10. Now, if you compare this expression to this guy, you can see that the slope is what? Negative 1 over 2. Number 10 says, find the variance of these numbers. Now, recall, variance is just summation of x minus x bar all squared over n. So quickly, we need to find the mean. X bar represents mean. How do you find mean? The mean for this expression is going to be 2.4 plus 3.5 plus 4.6 all over 3. Okay, now 2.4 plus 4.6, that gives you around 7. Then 7 plus 3.5, that should be 10.5 divided by 3. Calculator, hold on. Okay, so let's cross check that. 2.4 plus 3.5 plus 4.6, yeah, then divided by 3. So the mean is 3.5. Now quickly, we're going to do x minus x bar all squared. So 2.4 minus 3.5 gives you negative 1.1 all squared, gives you 1.21. So we have, okay, 1.21 plus, okay, this gives you 0 plus 4.6 minus 3.5, same 1.1 again, and square it 1.21. Okay, this is summation of the square, guys, over 3. So let's see what we're going to have. 1.21 plus 1.21 plus 1.21 divided by 3, and the answer is 0.81 as the variance to that question. Number 11 says, find the gradient of the line perpendicular to this coordinate. Now quickly, let's find the gradient for this point. So the gradient for those 2 points, and remember, gradient is changing y. Let me just write for you guys. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So what's y? Sorry, y2 is 1. This is the y value. The second value is in the bracket of the y value. First is the x. So y2 is 1 and y1 is 3. So you're having 1 minus 3 divided by 3 minus 1. Okay, 1 minus 3 gives you minus 2. This gives you 4. This gives you minus 1 over 2. But that's the one for the point. Now, the gradient perpendicular to this point. Remember, for you to have perpendicular lines, the gradient of the second guy must be negative 1 over the one for the first guy. Okay, so this should be negative 1 over negative 1 over 2. Minus kills minus, and the answer becomes 2. Okay, number 12 says a pyramid has a volume of 12 cm cubed. Find the height if the base is a square of length 2 cm. Quickly, the volume of a pyramid is 1 over 3 base area times height. Okay, so the volume was given as 12. We're going to say 12 equals 1 over 3 times. Now the base is made up of a square. So the base area should be the area of a square. And that should be 2 squared. That's 2 times 2. Then times the height is unknown, h. Quickly, how do you solve this? 2 times 2 is 4. 4 takes out 12. I'm left with 3 here. You're going to now cross multiply. So here becomes 3 times 3. And that should be 9 centimeters. The answer is 9. Question number 13 says, find the inverse of this matrix. Now quickly, the inverse of a matrix is the adjoint over the determinant. How do you find adjoint? Adjoint basically means if you have, for example, let me do something here. If you have a matrix of A, B, C, D, adjoint means you exchange A and D and then use minus to multiply the other two guys, okay? And determinant is simply AD minus B. So apply these guys to this question. The adjoint for that matrix should be, we're going to have 3 over here and 5 over here. Okay, and then we'll have minus 2 and minus 7. And then the determinant for this matrix, 5 times 3 is 15, 7 times 2 is 14, gives you 1. So the inverse of the guy becomes this value over 1 and remains valid. The answer is just the adjoint. Okay. Okay, number 14 says, find the number of ways 6 beads can be arranged in a circular manner. Normally, for number of ways for circular, we always apply n minus 1 factorial. But when it comes to bead, take note, we apply n minus 1 factorial, all divided by 2, because we have the clockwise and the anti-clockwise manner. Now quickly, since our n is going to have 6 minus 1 factorial all over 2, and that's 5 factorial over 2, that's 120 over 2, and the answer becomes 60 ways. Number 15 says, if x operation y equals x squared minus y, find 2 operation 3, operation 4. Quickly, remember primary school days, you have what we call board mass, but now it's called bed mass. Okay, the B stands for bracket. Now we're going to solve the bracket first before solving the other guy. Now we'll solve binary operation by simply comparing and substituting. So we have x operation y, but we have 2 operation 3, meaning anywhere you see x, put 2, anywhere you see y, put 3. So let's work with this bracket first. We're going to say 2 operation 3 becomes 2 squared minus 3. Okay, 2 squared is 4, minus 3 is 1. So the bracket is 1. Then you're going to operate this 1 with 4 with the same pattern again. So x is now 1 and y is 4. So 1 operation 4 becomes 1 squared minus 4. And what is 1 squared? 1. 1 minus 4 gives you what now? Minus 3 as your final answer. Number 16 says, find the perimeter. Okay, we have to find the perimeter, okay, of the shaded portion. Now this is a sector. This is a sector. Now to get the perimeter, basically you're going to be doing the length, we need length of arc over here, length of arc. Okay, because the perimeter of a sector is basically 2 arrows plus length of arc. Now, how do we find the length of arc first? Quickly recall that length of arc is theta over 360 times 2 pi r. So let's quickly solve that. The arc, okay, very important. Now, the angle was not given, but a sign was given there. Now, when you see this sign, it means perpendicular. It means 90 degrees. So the angle is 90. We have 90 over 360 times 2. Pi is 22 over 7 times the radius was 14. Now, quickly, 7 into 14 is 2. You know that, right? Now, 0 takes out 0 here. 9 here is 1. 9 here is 4. 4 takes out 2 times 2. So the arc is 22. Quickly, that's not the answer. Okay, so since the arc is 22, the perimeter becomes 2 times the radius, which is 14, plus 22. 2 times 14 is 28. So we have 28 plus 22, and that gives you 50 as the perimeter. Okay, question number 17 says, n varies directly as n, and n is 4 number 3 over 4. When n is 3 number 1 over 4, find the relationship. Now, quickly, how do we solve it? Recall it is direct variation. So basically, it means m is equal to kn. Okay, so let's find k. Obviously, k will be m over n. Okay, so k should be m over n. But now, how do we find the k? M was in fact, both of them are mixed fractions. So convert them first to improper fraction. How do we do that? 4 times 4 is 16. 16 plus 3 is 19. So m is 19. Sorry, this is small for you guys. M is 19 over 4. Then for n, 4 times 3 is 12 plus 1, 13. So we have 13 over 4. Now the 4 takes out the 4. So k should be 19 over 13. Now come back to your expression, meaning m is equal to 19 over 13n. This is the answer to that question. Number 18 says the interior angle of the polygon are given as x, x, then like that. Find x. Now quickly, we're not told the kind of polygon, but from the amount of angles given, you will know. Now let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 angles. That's a quadrilateral. And the sum of interior angles for a quadrilateral is 360. So quickly, we're going to sum all of them. So x plus x plus x plus 10 plus 2x minus 20 must be equal to 360. X plus x, that's 2x plus x, 3x, and then we have 5x's, okay? 10 minus 20 is minus 10 equals to 360. So quickly, 5x equals to 360 plus 10, that's 370. Divide both sides by 5. Calculator, hold on. Okay, so we're having 370 divided by 5, and the answer to that question, that's the x value, is 74 degrees. Number 19, the length of a rectangular field is measured to be 300 meters. If it is measured to the nearest unit, that's 1 meter, find the percentage error. Now, not to waste time, since you have an accuracy of 1, the error should be 0.5. So we're going to say the percentage error becomes 0.5 over 300 times 100 over 1. So let's work this out. These two zeros takes out these two guys. So we have 0.5 divided by 3. Let's see what that gives us. 0.5 divided by 3, and the answer should be 0.16 or 167%. So this is the answer to the question, and it should be option D in your exam. Question number 20 says, find the value of y. This is a question given in your exam. It's on Monday and Tuesday. Okay, find the value of y. Now quickly, how do we find the value of y? Remember, all these angles are on a straight line. Angles on a straight line equals to how many? 180. You're correct, 180. So it means we're going to sum all these guys and equate to 180. So what's 2y plus y? 3y. So another y, we have 4y. So we have 4y plus 60 equals 180. So we're going to have 4y equals 180 minus 60 gives you 120. So 4 takes out 120. So y should just be 30 degrees. Number 21 says, universal set is given as this, and PQ find arrow union bracket P union Q. Quickly, what is P union Q first of all? Now, this is P and this is Q. P union Q means write out all elements in P and Q without repetition. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we have this answer now, union arrow. So write them again with arrow. And so we're going to have the arrow union P union Q now becomes element here and here without repetition. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 10. Okay, so the answer should be option D in your exam. Number 22 says, if y equals tan open bracket 4x plus 1, find dy dx. Calculus, a very easy topic. Now listen, whenever you have a trig function with a bracket, always differentiate the bracket first. It's a trick, okay? So if you differentiate 4x plus 1, you're going to have 4. So dy dx gives you 4 first, okay? Then if you differentiate tan, you're going to have sec squared, then write the bracket back. This becomes the answer to that question. Number 23 says y equals 2x cubed minus 9x squared plus 12x plus 1. Find the maximum point. Recall, once you ask to find max or mean, you apply calculate differentiate. Okay, so what is dy dx? Quick, remember, we're doing power times function and power minus 1. How do I mean? If y equals ax raised to power n, then dy dx becomes n times ax, then n minus 1. Okay, so the power is 3. 3 times 2, 6. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 minus 1 is 1. And then we have just 12 here, okay? So this is your dy dx. Now you're going to equate this guy to 0 to get the values for x. Now quickly, we can simplify again. 6 can go into everybody. We're going to have x squared minus 3x plus 2 equals 0. Solve this quadratically. What will you times to get 2? Okay, but add to get minus 3. That should be minus 1 and minus 2. Shortcut, swap the values. So x should become positive 1 or positive 2. These two values are given. But now we need the maximum point. But now see, I'm not going to stress ourselves or waste our time. Now, there's 1 and 1 in the option, but there's no 2, meaning I'm using x as 1. So quickly, put the value for x inside this expression to get the one for y. Okay, so y should become 1 cube is 1. So we have just 2 minus 9 plus 12 plus 1. And this should give you 6. So the answer should be when x is 1, y is 6. That is option A. Number 24 says the roots of a polynomial are 1, minus 2, and 3. Find the polynomial. Quickly, let's not waste time, okay? So all these are the answers. It means that x equals 1, x equals minus 2, and x equals 3. We're going to solve backward. We're solving, they give us the answer. We are finding the question now. So you solve back quickly. You're going to say from this guy, x minus 1, then from here, x plus 2, from the last guy, x minus 3. I'm going to multiply these two guys first before multiplying with this third guy. Okay, so quickly, x times x gives you x squared, x times 2, 2x, minus 1x, and then minus 2. We have this guy here, and then times it by x minus 3. Okay, so quickly, 2x minus x gives you just 1x. Okay, so we have x squared plus x minus 2 into x minus 3. Now multiply again. So x squared times x gives us x cubed. X squared times minus 3 gives you minus 3x squared. X times x plus x squared. Okay, x times minus 3 gives you minus 3x. Minus 2 times x minus 2x, and then plus 6. So what are you going to have? X cubed. Okay, what do you have here? Minus 3x squared plus x squared gives you minus 2x squared. Here we have minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. This should be the polynomial. Number 25 says, you're given this diagram and you have to find which of these options relates to this diagram. Now, quickly inequality. Now, if you observe the diagram, it's going towards the right, meaning it's greater than. So all the options with less than are to be white. No, I'm okay. Now we are greater than negative 13, but now the circle was also dark, meaning it's also equal to. So the answer should be option C, x greater or equal to negative 13. So these questions are to be seen in your exam on the 20th and 21st. Okay, I'm not going to solve the full 40. I'm going to stop here at 25. Okay, so make sure you study these questions. If you can memorize the answers, do that and go to your exam hall on Monday and on Tuesday and pass your mathematics exam. Mind you, JAMB is going to wonder, how is this guy getting the questions? You're welcome to my page. If you've not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and share to your friends. I'll be dropping a video on physics after this. God bless you.